Hi, my name's Al and today I'm going to show you how to service the lower legs on your RockShox Pike fork. You're hardly going to need any stuff to do it. You're going to need some RockShox 0 weight 30 oil for the lower legs and a syringe. And that's about it. I know I'm not wearing them in this video, but it is a good idea to stick on some nitrile gloves and pop on some eye protections, protect your peepers whilst you're doing this service. There's two key things to remember when you're working with suspension. First one is to release any air before you take the fork apart. So press the valve core in until all the air has been released. We're not actually taking the air spring apart, but it makes sense and it helps with putting the fork together when we're done. The other thing is that everything needs to be spotlessly clean. So clean the fork before you start working on it and make sure you've got a nice clean working area as well, because any dirt could get in the fork and it's just going to cause damage or make it not work properly. Next thing, we need to remove the rebound adjuster. So it's a 2.5mm Allen key. Undo the screw until it pulls away. Make sure your little screw is screwed in so it doesn't fall out, you don't lose it. And to remove the lower legs, you need to put an oil pan underneath and undo both of the foot bolts about 3 turns. Once they're undone, give them a tap with a soft face mallet. And that should free the lower legs. Remove the bolts altogether. Just make sure you can push the shafts back up inside, and that will ensure that you'll be able to pull the legs clean off. Like so. With the lower legs off, we want to give the stanchions a good clean. Get rid of any crap, any dirt, any old oil and grease. Take your time with this. Get them really clean. When you're happy that they're clean, then we need to clean the seals. These have got little springs on them, little metal springs. We can pop those off so we can give them a really good clean. And they also have foam rings inside. We can remove the foam rings and we'll give those a good clean in a minute. But pay special attention to the seal area. You can get a dowel, a plastic or a wooden dowel like this with a rag on the end to poke and clean inside the lower leg. Make sure it's really clean. If it's filthy in there, then you can use a bottle brush and some water. Just make sure that everything's properly dry before you reassemble it. So now you've cleaned your lower legs and your seals are nice and clean, we need to sort out our foam rings. Use some alcohol and tissue to get rid of all the old oil and any dirt. Do this as many times as need be until they're totally clean. If they're not coming up clean, you're going to have to replace them. If you did want to replace your seals, it's pretty simple. We've actually gone through it in the mag, but it's just a case of getting a downhill tie lever underneath the seal, popping it out and simply pressing in a new one. If you did want to fit new seals yourself, it's a good idea to use this tool from RockShox, which is specifically designed for pressing in the seals on the Pike. Once you've got your foam ring good and clean, we need to saturate it in oil. So we're using 0-weight 30 oil from RockShox. Just get an old takeaway container or something and absolutely saturate the foam ring. You can then pop that back under the seal. Try not to squish it too much because all the oil will come out, and that will sit in place and keep your stanchions nicely lubricated. With the foam rings fitted, it's fit our springs to our seals. Get a bit of SRAM pit stop grease, Judy butter used to be called, and put a smear of it around the inside of the wiper seal, and they're ready to go back onto the stanchions. So with everything lovely and clean, we can fit the lower legs. You need to get the stanchions so they're at an angle, so they're just past horizontal. So make sure you've got your legs the right way around. And it's going to be a little bit tricky, but you just need to fit the stanchions into the lower legs. Be careful that you don't roll the seals over and trap them. They should slide easily onto the stanchions. Once they're on there, we need to fill the forks with the oil bath. Okay, so pikes take 20 ml of oil. They take 5 ml in the drive side and 15 ml in the non-drive. That's what SRAM recommend. It's important to make sure that the stanchions aren't pushed in too far into the lower legs, because otherwise these holes will get blocked with the push rods. So 5 ml in the drive side, 15 on the non-drive side, and that's our lubrication in place. It helps to rebuild the forks when they're completely collapsed, otherwise we'll end up with what will effectively be another air spring in the bottom of each leg. If you put the nuts in straight away, it will seal it off, and yeah, you'll get 2 air springs, which will affect the performance of the fork. So we want to compress it as far as it will go. It wants to spring back because you have got effectively an air spring there. You can release this air by pushing the bolt onto the push rod, like so, and then just nip them up. So the fork's fully collapsed. When it's inflated, we'll get what is in effect a negative air chamber in the bottom of the legs, which will give real nice small bump sensitivity. We need to tighten these bolts to 7.3 Newton meters. You don't have to use a torque wrench, but it's a good idea. Then we just need to wipe the fork down, get rid of all that oil and spilt everywhere. Then we can refit our rebound adjuster. So just push it into place and nip up the grub screw. I think it's 1.1 Newton meters, but if you just nip it up, that's absolutely fine. And finally, just need to inflate our fork, get it back up to our pressure that we ride at, and it's all good to go. So that's it. Fork's all ready to go out and hit the trails. Thanks for watching. See you next time.